Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. Coming to you live from Dave Venable Studios in downtown Hawkinsville.
Go ahead. Little technical difficulty there.
Ken, you had the phone hybrid was on. We were hearing the call, and that's what he was doing, is cutting it off.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you can go ahead and go.
Still doing it.
It's doing it again. Of course, technical difficulties first thing this morning. It's not what you want to do. Coming to you with the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show this morning. Big night last night all across the state. A lot of great ball games. Sly County and Lakeville County overtime. Sly with a 48-42 win. And, of course, here in Hawkinsville, a overtime game. Devils down by 34-20 score with just over 7 minutes going the game. Devils went down and scored just under 4 minutes, and the rest, as they say, is history. To the phone line we go. On the line with us. No call there, as Ken's working on that. Chuck, I tell you, crazy ball game that we're at last night. A lot of fun, a lot of great things happening. It was crazy.
Bruce, I have been a player and a coach in a bunch of ball games, and I don't know that I've seen one. You know, we played in state championships, we coached in state championships, and that's all great and it's fun. But last night was one of the best football games I've ever seen, been a part of. And boy, I tell you what, to see Hawkinsville go down by 2 scores with about 6 minutes left to go in the game, and those kids battled back. They didn't give up. Credit to Coach Settles and his culture of meeting adversity and taking care of what you need to take care of and not quitting. It was so impressive. So proud of those guys, and this is a huge win. From what I can tell, this is a huge win for the program. And going forward, hopefully these Red Devils will be able to keep that win streak going coming this week against Twiggs County.
Yeah, and Twiggs coming off a loss to Central Talbotton last night, 14-6. Of course, let's be fair. Those guys, so many coaching changes over the last several years. 2 years of COVID. I think they had one game in the 2 years. They've lost a lot of numbers and players. It's been a tough time for those guys.
Just let's face it, Twiggs County is not a very populated county anyway.
No.
And it's tough for a program like that, like you said, to come out of a basically 2-year, almost like a death penalty from COVID, and to be able to get it started back up. I think they will eventually.
Yeah, I think so. It's coming.
Yeah.
To the phone line we go. On the line with us now Coach Tim Suttles, head coach of the Hawkinsville Red Devils. Exciting 41-40 overtime win last night over Marion County. Good morning, Coach, and congratulations.
Good morning, Bruce. Thank you, sir.
Coach, those that get the Hawkinsville Dispatch and News this coming week, they'll see. I spelled it out in black and white that 34-20. A little adversity here and there, and those guys could have give up. Credit to those guys and y'all for getting those kids ready to go. There was no quit in them.
Probably my biggest takeaway from this game, Bruce, is the fact that we were down, and we were down late. We were down multiple scores, and just really felt like nobody backed off at all. They continued fighting. The outcome was obviously in question and probably in favor of Marion at that point. And our guys played as if it was 0-0, and that thrilled me as a head football coach to see that and know that our guys are willing to do that, and that shows a lot of character of our young men that we have. And I was really, really pleased with how they kept fighting.
Coach, you cut the score to 8 points. We didn't get the 2-point conversion, and things just began to click for us. We played well on defense the last 2 or 3 series, but we get the ball, we go down the field, we punch it in the end zone. But your back's still against the wall. You got to have a 2-point conversion to extend the game, or with about 20 seconds going the game, it's over with.
Yes, sir. And we had a 2-point play that we've worked every day this week. So we knew before, we even got in that situation. Everybody on the field and all our coaches knew what play was going to be called, and we made it a little bit more exhilarating than it should have been because kind of held onto the ball a little bit too long, and then Naeem Blair, which he had ended up making a miraculous catch, he made it look a lot harder and made people gasp for their breath. But that's why as coaches you get those things in and work them throughout the week, and just glad that we worked it every single day. We actually worked in our walkthrough on Friday, and it came through in clutch, and our guys made the plays when it was on the line. I'm real pleased, man. Our guys played like they had ice running through their veins, and the moment wasn't too big for them.
Coach, in overtime, going into overtime, I thought in the back of my head that they got a kicker can hit the ball the long distance, a heck of a kicker. I thought that kind of favored them. But on the snap, they put it down, and he hit it to the left, and it bounced off the upright, no good. And, I thought at that point, that kind of swings our way, but at least we know if we could score, we'd be tied at least and maybe force another one even if we can't get the extra point. But I got to tell you, when I looked out on the field and I seen 17 run out on the field, Ethan Coffey, I thought, what in the world? And then he's set up to hold it instead of Nelson Singletary. And then Wesley come out there, and he seemed to be calm. Even when guys talking to him coming off the sideline, to set that up where, here you got a freshman and you got a guy that hadn't had an opportunity to kick a whole lot and a chance to win a ball game in overtime like this. I thought it was clutch. I thought the snap was great. I thought the hole was dead on, and the kick, you couldn't ask for a better kick.
Hey, put a smile on my face here, and you painted the picture better than it was in person. Nelson Singletary, he's our holder, and he poured it out on the field for us last night.
Absolutely.
And right there towards the end, I guess he was a little dehydrated, and he became extremely sick. And Ethan Coffey does hold for us every day in practice. He holds with multiple kickers. And I actually had a conversation with Coach Thompson when we were sending Coffey out on the field. He said that we want to just go for two and get a play call here. And I looked at him and I said, I got faith in Coffey. Let's let it happen. But I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even watch the kick because I was too scared to look at it.
Well, Coach, I'm going to tell you something else, too. Sims had a heck of a ball game on defense and offense, made some catches. And then you've got Jaden Collins, who absolutely played the definition of center field on defense as well as anybody. He came up in one series on two huge plays.
Back-to-back plays.
Knocking the ball away and just played outstanding. Then you moved him on offense. He helped the offensive side. I tell you, some great play from a lot of kids.
You're exactly right. Jaden was a standout for us on defense. I know he had two back-to-back pass breakups. One of them probably saved a touchdown. And then late in the game, he picked one off and gave us a good return. Actually gave us a shot in regulation to try and get in the end zone. And Malik Sims is certainly one of our leaders of our team. He's a great character kid, and he works as hard as any kid I've ever coached in the weight room and on the practice field. And I was glad to see him be able to make some plays. And, we really like to want to try and put it in the air and let him try and go get it. And last night he had a couple good catches, and he was a willing tackler last night from his cornerback position. So both of those guys really stood out. And, another side note on this whole thing was we lost Dagan Mullis early in the game with a hamstring injury. So then one of our outside linebackers, Fadarius Harrell, got banged up. So we really, just a full team win because we had to go in the depth chart. We played 4 different guys at inside linebacker. We played 4 different guys at outside linebacker. And, that wasn't part of the plan. But, hey, that's why you get them practice reps. And I tell you what, it makes it sweeter whenever so many different people chip in.
Well, Coach, again, congratulations, exciting win. Enjoy the weekend, and I got to say it one more time, it's great to be a Hawkinsville Red Devil.
Yes, sir. It certainly is. Thank you, guys.
All right, Coach, have a great weekend.
School football.
Thanks, Coach.
You too. Thank you.
We're going to take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at this Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
Volunteers of America is a national organization that for over 100 years has provided programs and services that allow people to overcome their challenges to become vital members of their community. At Volunteers of America, we don't just help people, we help people help themselves. Find out how you can support the programs that are working in your community. Contact Volunteers of America today. Call 1-800-899-0089.
We just can't run it in here.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at this Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866.
I'm getting verification on that being his. Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. Ken's going to try to go ahead and get Coach Roger Holmes of Dublin on the line next, as we kind of have to shift a couple times. Nothing unusual, a little smoke and mirrors.
I tell you, I wanted to talk. I wish I had more time with Coach Suttles. We talked about that ninth grader holding, and I told you last night. And I don't know if we were on the air or fault there, but I did that as a junior in high school, and a little older than that ninth grader was, and it was nerve wracking even back then. I can't imagine being a ninth grader, 13 or 14 years old,
yes,
with the pressure. I mean, Bruce, the pressure of the world is on you right there because everybody's looking at you, and it's not an easy thing to do.
No, heck,
hold it. You got to. It's all timing. And you got to have soft hands, and man, it's tough to do.
Back to the phone lines. We go on the line with us now, Coach Roger Holmes of Dublin Fighting Irish. Excuse me, Coach Barnett is on the phone. Coach Barnett, we're still in Lawrence County. I mean, geez.
Yeah, that's the wrong one, though.
Come on, green and blue's close, aren't they, Coach?
That's the other institution.
Not down here, they're not.
Oh, Lord.
No green allowed.
Coach, glad to have you with us this morning. I tell you, there's nothing better than Friday nights in Georgia.
Yes, sir. Nothing like it.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your game last night. Last night y'all took on Vidalia. Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh, well, Rodney Garvin, really good football coach. He's a first-year head coach down there at Vidalia. He's a friend of mine. Really, had a really good year at Metter last year, so it was his first year there. But back and forth game is pretty tight. 21-21 in the 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, we drive down and stall out close inside the 10 and had a 4th and 7, I believe, 4th and goal from the 7. And we ran a sophomore kicker out there, kicked a field goal to go ahead, kicked off to them. We hit a kid out of bounds. They had the ball right there at midfield, and then they threw an interception. We intercepted the ball right there on the next play. They had 3 timeouts, but we got a first down right there, ran the clock out, and able to take a knee and win the ball game.
And, Coach, I tell you what, a win over Vide is a great win. That's a program that's got a lot of history. I tell you, you guys have got a heck of a program over there, and things are beginning to hop for you guys.
Yeah, we're still really, really young. We're getting better. I think we got a really good staff. We got really, really good kids. We're still improving. We're still growing. I think even though we've had some adversity, we've kept a good work ethic and attitude about us. So, even after last week's blowout loss to House, and they're really good, and our kids just responded really well to everything, and we had a really good week of preparation. It all happened for us last night.
Coach, of course, coming up next, a big ball game with Blakely County.
Yes, sir. It doesn't get any easier. We'll celebrate this one for 24 hours, and then get ready for Blakely County.
And, of course, Coach Von Laster coming home to take over that program, and Von's done a heck of a job over there.
Oh, ain't no doubt. They got the better of us last year. I actually know Coach Laster for a long time. I'm from Forsyth, so he spent 1 year at Mary Persons out there with us. I've known him for a while. He's a good coach and a good man.
And, of course, he was at HOCO before coming home to Blakely County. And I tell you what, they have the administration has really opened up the system to him and allowed him to bring in the coaches he wants. And I tell you what, that's one of the things that people don't realize. Vaughn has really gone out and got some of the best coaches anywhere.
Yeah, he's got several head coaches on his staff, and they do a good job. They really do.
And, of course, a couple of years ago, they even had John Ford, who was the former head coach up at Buford. And I tell you, you got a guy like him running your defense, you got to feel pretty darn good.
Yes, sir. And then they have Coach Kagan McLean, who was the head coach here before I got here. He's on the defensive staff over there. He's a really good defensive ball coach. And Stacy Nobles, who was also the head coach here before Coach McLean, is on staff as well. So he's got a lot of experience, and they got a lot of familiarity with our program, and us being close in proximity and all. It's a good little rival.
Well, Coach, again, congratulations on the victory last night. Good luck next week, and if you'll take another call from us, we'll call you again in the next few weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much. We appreciate it.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You too.
Coach Kip Burnett, head coach over at West Lawrence. Coaches the Raiders, and I didn't realize he had him on the phone. It's in the same county, but that green and blue do not mix.
No, sir, they don't. That blue doesn't really mix up, in my opinion, with a whole lot of anything. That's the same thing in over there where I grew up. It's either red or blue over there. Coach Davis used to tell us. Well, we won't talk about that on the radio.
Coach Davis, God bless him. He was. Him and a Richard Finley, both great guys.
Just texting with Richie right there. Just texting with Richie and congratulating him last night.
Yeah, that was a big win for those guys.
Yeah, it was. They took on Tatnall, and I was kind of surprised Tatnall reached out there to play those guys. Man, that's good for Tatnall to be able to compete with those guys. Back
to the phone line we go. Now on the line with us, Coach Roger Holmes, Dublin Fighting Irish. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, man.
Coach, glad to have you with us. I tell you, high school football is really beginning to pick up steam in the Middle Georgia area. A lot of great games across state last night.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And ours was a real exciting game. We just came up on the wrong end of it.
Wow, I tell you, two really good teams last night. Two teams that like to run the ball. And talk to us a little bit about it, Coach, and tell us a little bit how it unfolded.
Well, I think, our first quarter for them, we had a penalty, kept a drive going, and we had them in a 3rd and 15, and they throw a deep ball down the middle, and honest to goodness, it went right between our defenders' hands, and caught it for a touchdown. They made a heck of a play. Good concentration on the young man to make the catch, too. But that was touchdown. They went up 7-0. I felt like, we were lucky just to be down 7-0 at the half. The way they controlled us up front, they really did some really good things. But we come out, the opening play of the second half, they kick off to us. We return the thing back for a touchdown. Then we had another penalty on a 3rd and long that set up an opportunity for them. I gave them a first down there, and it was a pass interference penalty. It was one of those where, it's certainly a judgment call. High school rules are different. Our fans, I'm saying this more for any of our people that may have heard it now, it doesn't matter whether the ball's catchable or not in high school football. And our guy got a hand on the receiver on a ball that was overthrown and out of bounds 4 or 5 yards. But we made a mistake there. We gave them the ball back. They knocked down a 40-yard field goal, go up 10-7, and we're not moving the football at all. And we hit a couple of plays, both nice long runs. We had fumbles. Turned the ball over after a nice game. And we get the thing, dang, they fumble it back to us. We run it down to the 5-yard line, and there's about 2 minutes to go in the game. And shucks, we run a play, lose 2 yards, throw a couple of passes. One of those was a judgment call on the official, whether we were in bounds or out of bounds, right over on our sideline, and that would have been one that would have been tough for the NFL to figure out, because it was a bang play whether we got our feet in or not, but ruled incomplete. We lined up to kick about a 25-yard field goal and miss it wide right. And ECI gets out with a big win. But ECI outplayed us last night. They outcoached us last night. And it gives us vast knowledge. And we better get back to work and figure out what we got to do to get this football team better.
Coach, you're sitting here and you go through a night last night. You've got a 2-1 record, and you, of course, coming up next Metter. And I tell you, your non-region schedule is absolutely brutal.
Well, we've got a tough non-region schedule, and that's that's indicative of the expectations of our football program, and we're fine with that. And Metter's a football team that put a licking on us twice last year in the regular season and in the playoffs. Still playing great defense. I think they lost last night 2-0. They did beat ECI 17-10, and ECI got us last night 10-7. So all indications it'll be a hard night for the Dublin Irish to find a way to win.
And of course, Coach, coming up next, like I said, Metter coming up next week at home. Coach, as always, it's a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great weekend. Good luck to you guys, and we hope that we can get you back on the phone in a few weeks if you'll have us.
Hey, we'll be more than happy, man. I appreciate what y'all do.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir, buddy. Bye-bye.
Bye. Coach Roger Holmes, head coach of the Dublin Fighting Irish. And talking about stacking coaches, he has got a staff over there, including our friend Joel Ingram, who was head coach at Washington County for many years after Tomberlin left. And I tell you what, he's got a heck of a staff, and they're going to be tough down the stretch. They got Metter, they got Charlton, then they got Blakely County.
Wow.
And then after that, another non-region game with Dooley County. And I tell you, things are they've got a heck of a schedule in front of them.
You're not going to get better unless you challenge yourself.
No, you're not going to get any better.
And I tell you, Coach talked about this game, and as a coach, these are the games that you'll remember a long time because they'll drive you nuts.
Oh, absolutely.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, and I still game we had in 2014, we lost 8-6. I'm like, goodness, several opportunities to win that game, we didn't do it.
We're going to take a break. You'll listen to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network. Stay tuned.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at this steakhouse restaurant in
I walk the
Hawkinsville.
mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The steakhouse restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the steakhouse restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at this steakhouse restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. Ken, if you can find a way to turn my headset up just a little bit, I'm having trouble. There we go. That's perfect. No, that's fine. And listen, when I can't hear myself, that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm deaf anyway. I'd like to be able to hear it.
Lord have mercy. Want to thank our sponsor, Steakhouse Restaurant, Lewis Fowler and the company there. Guys, get off there today. Head on out to the Steakhouse, get you some great food, the noonday buffet, and of course, Thanksgiving every Sunday at the Steakhouse with turkey and dressing, fried chicken, carved roast beef, array of vegetables, great salad bar with fluffy fruit and other stuff on the salad bar, and then of course dessert topped off with some ice cream, and done all by folks that'll treat you better than family.
We will be there tomorrow. In fact, you said you're going tomorrow, right?
I told him I probably won't be able to eat at the house there. I'll probably have to get to go home and eat with the wife. But I'm jonesing for some turkey and dressing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I
talked to my wife this morning about it. She said, "Well, let's go tomorrow." I'm like, "Let's go." Okay. After church, we're going to drive to Hawkinsville, and we're going to have some turkey and dressing.
Back to the phone line we go. On line with us now, Coach Darren Alford of Sly County. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Yeah, Coach, excited, tired, and a little bit of everything else, I guess, to go with it. Overtime for you guys. We had overtime here, and it's exciting when you get overtime and you get the W on top of it.
Yes, it was a very emotional game last night. We were excited about the outcome of the game. You know, we had a real physical game. We got beat up a little bit, but in the end, we came out on top, and we were fortunate to get that win.
Coach, if you would, kind of break it down for us. Let's go through the game. I get regular updates from the Grafton boys over there to keep me up on what's going on from the Blakely County side. So we were up to date on all of it all through the night. But kind of let's break it down a little bit.
Well, you know, we knew that coming into the game that, you know, Blakely had 2 weeks off, and I know all those guys over. I coached with them at West Lawrence for a while, so I knew that they were going to be really prepared for the game, and they were. We got out early and got ahead of them, and then, you know, they adjusted, and they got up a couple touchdowns on us and came back. I think it was 21-14 at halftime. We made a couple plays and got ahead going half, and you know, the second half coming around, we had an opportunity to I guess it was third quarter, early in third quarter, we had a fake punt that we had, and it would have broke, but we had a guy that was called, you know, for moving. It was a penalty on us at that time, and after that point, Blakely kind of seized the momentum in the third quarter, and really, they got ahead of us again. They came back, scored a touchdown, tied it, came back, scored another touchdown in the third quarter and got ahead of us. We just couldn't stop their quarterback. Their quarterback's really, really good. He can run. They got a really good running back, and we were struggling stopping those guys at that time. And finally in the fourth quarter, our kids responded, and we ended up, you know, getting the ball back with 4 minutes left in the game. I was concerned they were going to punt us down there deep. They went for it on a 4th and 4 from about our 48-yard line, I think, somewhere in there, and we were fortunate enough to step in front of the pass and intercept it. And we had a short field with about 3 minutes left of the game. We drove it down and ended up scoring with 2 seconds left on the clock. We were going to go for 2 and try to go for the win right there. We tried to jump them off sides on the kickoff, and we got it. So we had the ball on the 1 yard line, and then it's my fault. We had 10 men on the kickoff team. We were too excited, and I didn't handle the sideline as good as I should. So I just let the clock run out, and then we kicked the extra point, and then went to overtime, and we held them on 4 downs, and our guy got in on 3rd down. So, you know, ended, and it was exciting. Everybody in Ellerville was excited. The whole town was excited. I mean, it was one of them games at the end where, you know, you sleep really good afterwards because you're drained and you're tired.
We're familiar here.
yeah, no doubt about it. Coach, what an exciting win. You guys moved to 3-0 on the season. You played a pretty good schedule so far. You had Tatnall squared open things up, then you had Early County team, and then y'all had Blakely County. Coming up next week, you're on the road at Central at Talbotton.
Yeah, we are. Central got their first win of the year this year, Friday night. They got their first win, I can't remember how many years. They got a new coach in there this year, and he seems to have them more organized. So, you know, we're going to have to go out there and make sure we break them down good and figure out what they're doing. And we got a lot of kids banged up, so, you know, there's probably a lot of my guys that won't get to play next Friday night because, you know, we got undefeated Macon County team going to be coming to our place for homecoming that following week. So we're going to have to really, really do a good job this week getting our kids prepared, because I'm going to have some kids probably hadn't had to play yet, played a little bit in that game, and we're going to have to really, really try to make sure we're ready to go on that one.
Coach, we used to be in the region with those guys. They came over a few years ago, and they didn't have about 25 kids dressed out. But I'm telling you, their first 11 looked as good as anybody in the state. I mean, they looked that good. But they've had trouble with numbers, and of course, when you have coaching change as much as they have over the years, that kind of creates a problem for them. And it
does, you know, and they got a basketball coach that's in there with them now. He's going to be coaching basketball also. And he's got those kids out again this year. That's what has happened in the past, and they're out there playing ball. I counted 21 or 22, like you said, on the sideline. But those guys that they have do look really good.
And with the right coaching, that they'll get better even with those low numbers. Coach, health-wise, how are y'all?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Health-wise, how are y'all?
I didn't understand that.
How's the health of your team? I'm sorry. How's the health of your team, Coach?
The health of our team. Yeah, we everybody is going to play. We don't have any injuries that's going to hurt us. You know what I mean? But we're really banged up and bruised up with little twisted ankles. You know, we got a couple kids with some rib injuries, and we got a couple shoulders that are going on, and we really have to, work on those guys this week. So, I mean, if push comes to shove, everyone could play. But I'm going to try to make sure that we do right by the kids. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And if they need to stay out, I want to keep them out if I need to. I would love for everybody to play next week, but we just want to see, because we have, like you said, we went through a gauntlet because we scrimmaged against Irwin, and then we played Gatlin, then we played Early, and now we played Bleckley. So, our schedule has been brutal, to this point so far, and it's showing up in our health, and the soreness of our kids.
Hey, Coach, we got about 45 seconds left. I've been over there before, and that was known before you got there as just a baseball school. But, Coach, you have put football on the map over there. What did you do to get those kids to come out to play football?
Well, first of all, you got to get with the baseball coach, and I knew Coach Cheek a long time ago, and we've come up together, and he's a good guy, and he's not against football at all. He's for it. He's a football coach. And there's just a negative attitude there toward football. We had to change that attitude and outlook and try to create a culture of work. And we did that by, getting all the kids in the weight room. We've won a state championship in the weight room there since I've been there, and the kids really are bought into that. And they, they enjoy football, and there's no, we don't allow any negativity about any other sport or anything, and that was what it was. A lot of it had to deal with just the total view of the people, the coach, the community about football. So we tried to change that. Got them in the weight room, got them working, and just tried to do things fundamentally.
That's awesome, Coach. You're doing a great job over there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Talking to Coach Darren Alford, head coach of Sly County, winners last night in overtime, 48-42. Coach, congratulations again. Have a great weekend. We hope to get you on again in a few weeks.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, guy. Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Bye.
We're going to take a break. You're listening to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
Main streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. As we continue, back to the phone lines we go. On the line with us now, Elbert County head coach Shannon Jarvis. Good morning, Coach. Coach Jarvis.
Are you there? Hello? He must have dropped off, Bruce.
Okay. All right. Well, he'll get him back on the phone. Coach Shannon Jarvis, who spent many years at Mill Creek, and then went to Elbert County. And I think that's home for him, and he's done a good job there. And I tell you, they've got a heck of a tough schedule. They don't have but 3 region games, but Rabun County Commerce and Athens Christian.
Yeah, you got to put yourself into a good non-region schedule, then, don't you?
And he has. Now we're back to the line. On the line with us now, Coach Shannon Jarvis. Good morning, Coach. Coach Jarvis.
There's these.
Hello?
Coach
Hello?
I think our coach.
Coach, you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Oh, good morning, Coach. Sorry about that. I think we have gremlins that's got in our mics.
Bruce says, you can't explain cell coverage. You just don't know. You never know.
Cow.
They're 2 feet and they don't have nothing.
Well, you get one bar in downtown Hawkinsville.
Good morning.
Coach, glad to have you with us this morning. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Coach, y'all are at 2-1 on the season. Y'all had the week off.
All right.
Coach Albert. Coach Shannon Jarvis.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure what's going on here. Jeez, it's crazy. Coach, 2-1 on the season. Y'all had the week off. Let's talk a little bit about your week off, and then we'll kind of look at what's coming up.
Yeah, having this week off, we had played, three teams in higher classifications, very good teams, and so all of our games have come down to the wire. And so getting this week off, I can speak for all of our coaches and players. It was much needed, and not just to take the break, but let us clean up, spend time on ourselves and clean up some of the things that we need to clean up. And then we'll be prepared to play Washington Wilkes next week. So the positive thing is we probably played our best football of the year in the last half in our last game against Harlem. We were down 20-0 at halftime and was not playing well. We had turnovers and everything. And but second half of that, and specifically the fourth quarter, is probably the best football we've played since I've been at Elbert between offense, defense, special teams. So we're hoping to grab that momentum and run with it. The first few games we've played well, but we've had miscues. We hadn't come together as far as all 3 phases. But we did right before that, right in the last half of that game, and took that into the off week. So we're hoping to take that momentum and continue it the rest of the way.
Well, Coach, and hopefully now that you're at this point, you had the off week, and hopefully at this point moving forward, we'll get weather that'll be a little bit closer to normal instead of all the heat and humidity we've been dealing with.
Amen, brother.
That's the truth.
Amen.
All right. Coach, let's talk about a little bit about the makeup of your team and who are your leaders.
Yeah, with our team this year, this is my 4th year. So first and foremost, it's like these are my kids. I've had them for 4 years, and but our senior class, it's a unique team because we have 103 players total. Okay, but 12 of them are our seniors. And so, if you look across the state of Georgia, if you look at it, most teams have small senior classes because these are the seniors from that COVID year, and so it really hurt the numbers of football that summer when so many couldn't play or wasn't playing, and the whole everything was shut down. But we've got that group of seniors who I think the world of on our team, and then we've got huge junior and sophomore and freshman classes, and so between 25 and 30 in each one of those. But we, our seniors, they do a great job. But our makeup of our team, our sophomores and juniors, we've got about 8 juniors that have been starting since their freshman year.
So they've got a lot of experience. We've got 3 or 4 sophomores that have come on this year for us, DK Wynn and DJ Fortson, that have had tremendous years and going to be great players, and they get better every time out. So we got a junior class that they've got a lot of experience, and based off last year's success, they really grew up a lot last year, and they're who we're counting on this year with those seniors that we have. But it's a unique mixture of our team, and the reason I say that is that, one, you got a small senior class, but two, these kids intermingle with each other. I don't think they really care about what class. I had a mom send me a picture last night. It's a bunch of our kids playing basketball, during the off week, and it was kids from every class out there doing that. And that's stuff that as a coach, you'd like to say you can control that, but you can as far as your mixture and your kids getting along. And I think that lends to being from a small town. Our kids have grown up together. So that's what's enabled this team. It's a close team. But when I said earlier that we're still pulling things together, I mean that based on execution, but the closeness of this team. I mean, last week when we're down 20-0 at halftime, they showed their character and their resolve and truthfully their love for one another. And that's basically at halftime. Everybody wants to know what adjustments we made. I didn't make no adjustments. We attacked their pride. I told them there's no adjustments to make if your pride's on the line, and so they responded that way. So I think that goes back to the mixture of our team, all classes that truly get along, and they all, we don't point to one group to lead. We believe you all got to lead yourselves, and you all got to carry your weight in that department.
We're talking with Coach Shannon Jarvis, head coach of Elbert County. Week off this week. Next week they'll be hosting Washington Wilkes. Coach, listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Continue the great success up there. We talked last year about making the ride up that way. Who knows? Yeah. We've got some open dates coming up. Maybe we can make that trip. I would love to come up, but I don't know if I think I'm getting a little bit too old to make that trip back home.
Well, I understand. Well, it's a great venue, I can tell you. So if you do get that chance, I'd love to host you and have you. Like I've said last year, and I tell you, it's like going back in time 20, 30 years. And I mean that as a positive statement. And it's a venue that we hold dear, and we modernize it in some areas, but in a lot of areas we don't. We want to keep. There won't be any structural changes to the Granite Bowl. It's been there since the 50s, and we keep it clean and all. And we got nicer restrooms, and we've added that type stuff. But as far as the venue, we try to keep it as to historically sound the way it's been from the day it was built. So we're very proud of it, and we'd love to host you anytime you can make a trip up.
All right, Coach. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'll put you on my schedule and look at it and see what we can do. Have a great weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Y'all have a great weekend.
You too, Coach. Thanks. Coach Shannon Jarvis has been with us many times over the years, going back to his Mill Creek days, and I tell you, he rolled out the welcome map for us last year if we can make it, and couldn't work it out. But God, I want to go. I want to see that venue.
I'll tell you what, I would love to. I've never been there and seen it, but I tell you the way he described it, man, I want to go next week now.
Just go online, look at some pictures. There's plenty of them out there.
Well, hey, 103 players, Bruce, and only 12 of them are seniors. That's crazy.
Back to the phone lines we go now with us, Coach Wesley Tankersley of Stevens County. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are y'all?
Good, Coach. Good win last night for you guys over Dawson County, 35-0. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we actually scored probably about the fastest 21 points I've ever witnessed in my life. I think we scored 21 points in the first 3 minutes of the game. We got an interception that we returned for a touchdown, and then they got the ball back and fumbled it, and then we ran it in a few plays later, and then kicked the ball off to them, and they fumbled the kickoff, and we scooped and scored on that, so it was 21-0 with about 9 minutes left in the first quarter, and we just kind of cruised the rest of the way. Unfortunately, I didn't think we played as good after we got up as we should have, but it's good to get the win either way, and our kids have to learn how to keep the pedal to the metal, so to say, even when you get up. So that's a good learning situation for us.
Well, unfortunately, these kids are just too darn smart. I mean, it's like when you go into a game against an opponent that you're obviously 3 or 4 touchdowns better. It's kind of hard to get the kids to stay focused sometimes. And when they get that lead, they'll some of them with the idea, we've got the game. We'll just kind of ease up a little bit. But you just never know when something bad is going to go the other way.
Yeah, that's you're exactly right, and that's why we're trying to preach the entire time. We got to keep playing hard and keep doing the things we're supposed to do. And we played hard. We just had some mental errors and things like that we haven't been doing the first 3 weeks. That I think was really just because we got up and lost a little bit of focus there. But overall we've been playing really well. The first 3 weeks and getting better each week. And we've got kind of an inexperienced team overall. We graduated a big bunch last year, but so this team doesn't have as much experience in situations like that. So it was good to get the win either way, and then have a teaching moment to so that next time we play a little bit better after something like that happens.
Coach, a good win last night. You guys moved to 4-0 on the season. Next up, White County.
Yeah, White County. Good looking group of kids. I think they're 2-1 right now. Won their last 2, and they're continuing to improve. I think they got a lot of kids back from last year. They've got a quarterback that this will be, I think, his 3rd year as a starter. He's been starting since a freshman. He's improved every year. So, we're looking for a very big battle going up to Cleveland.
Coach, not looking ahead, but just looking at your region as a whole, Monroe area, Franklin County, Hart County, Oconee County, and Hebron Christian. And I tell you what, whoever comes out of this one's going to have to work their tail off.
Yeah, fortunately we were able to win the region last year, but it's a tough region with a lot of good schools that play a lot of good football. So each and every week is a big game, and that's a point of emphasis for us right now, is trying to continue to get better through non-region play. We've got one more non-region game with White, and then we've got a bye week, and then we start region with Monroe area, and that's always a huge game to start out with in the region standings.
We're talking Coach Wesley Tankersley, Stevens County winners last night of Dawson County, 35-0. Coach, you guys live in a beautiful area. I've been up to do baseball games up in that area, and I tell you, it's absolutely gorgeous. And this is beginning to get to the time of year it's even going to get better looking.
Yeah, it's starting to get to fall. Of course, the weather, we had a 95-degree weather on Wednesday, so, I think hopefully it'll be the last hot game that we had. We had a big storm last night, so hopefully the weather's going to turn beautiful for us and get some of that fall weather coming in.
Yeah, it's this time of year when it starts to begin to make that change, and hopefully we'll get this heat and humidity out here and we'll get more normal conditions. Well, Coach, listen, it's always great to talk to you. Congratulations on another great win last night. Good luck next week, and we'll be keeping up with you, and we hope to call you again.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime, Coach. Thank you. Coach Wesley Tankersley, and what a job he's done up there, and they just continue every week.
Talking about a beautiful area, Toccoa, man, nice up there. We got some family up there, so.
Yeah, I've done Middle Georgia baseball up in that neck of the woods, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Makes you want to move up there.
Absolutely. I want to remind you of the Steakhouse Restaurant here in Hawkinsville. Go out and get you some great food. Today you got a great noonday buffet, meats, vegetables, a great salad bar and dessert bar, all of that. And, of course, Sundays or Thanksgiving every week at the Steakhouse with turkey and dressing, gravy, cranberry sauce, fried chicken, roast beef, and of course some more meats, and also a variety of vegetables and a great salad bar and ice cream and dessert, all at the Steakhouse. We're going to take a break. You're listening to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
The mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We can get about a minute of scores from Chuck, and then we'll move back into a commercial break at the top of the hour, and we got coaches coming up after the top of the hour.
All right, Bruce, starting off with Greene County on the road. Wilkinson County. Greene County was victors over Wilkinson County 41-6. We got Raven Gap won 42-21 over Christ School. Holy Spirit Prep over Crisp Academy 49-14. Augusta Prep Day and Piedmont Academy 16-14. Augusta Prep was the victors there. Piedmont Academy was former head coach there, Wes Tanner, who's our youth pastor now. I'll coach with Wes at Covenant. Let's see, Cedar Grove over Collins Hill. That one's got some dudes in it now. I'm not kidding you. Cedar Grove came out on top 37-26. East Paulding hosted Paulding County, won 44-7. Let's see, on down the list here, you got the Stockbridge over Luella, 44-8. Norcross and Archer, that's two good schools right there. 25-21, Norcross on the road with a win. Big win for Norcross. They're ranked number 11 in the state. Parkview, North Gwinnett, two great schools there, 35-32. Parkview won that one. Over in the private school league, Sherwood Christian beat Community Christian 45-0. And battle of two big schools, Milton and Roswell. Terrence Edwards coaches at Milton, and they came out on top of Roswell 33-14.
And, of course, we continue this each week throughout the course of the season, 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Coming up in the last half hour, we'll do a little traveling with John Nelson. That's coming up in just a little while. We're going to take a break. You'll listen to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. Bruce, Chuck, and Ken here. Eddie will be here in a little bit. They had to make a return back to America's from last night this morning. I think lost a set of keys or something. They had to go down and try to get them.
Man, that's tough. Got to drive back over there.
Of course, you can stop by Crystal on the way and get some burgers.
That drive back and forth to America's I did many times.
Yeah,
it's not a fun drive.
No, and
there's a big curve right there, just on the other side of Oglethorpe.
We're going to take a quick 10-second break for our stations to identify themselves on the XL Sports Network. Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We go to the telephone line. Evans head coach Barrett Davis. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. How are y'all?
Doing good, Coach. Last night, Burke County and Coach Franklin Stevens and company, and of course he took over Coach Eric Parker after he retired last season, and I tell you, pretty good coach to replace him.
Coach, can you hear us?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Coach. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was kind of breaking up for just a second on me, but no, we and I've met Coach Stevens a couple times before and got to have a good conversation with him pre and post game last night. Great coach, great staff, and I worked there for 5 years from 2009 to 14 with Coach Parker during our little good run we had. And,
right.
He learned a lot from those guys, and a lot of respect for Coach Stevens. And we played hard. It was 7-7 at halftime, and our first drive, we had a pick six on them and took it back. Then they ran jet sweep for a touchdown a couple plays later. So it was kind of back and forth, but they do things the right way. Good class program, good sportsmanship. We thought on both sides, and both teams fought hard. So we, a lot of respect for them, and they made us better, and I think we made them better last night. So that's the ultimate goal, non-reach-wise.
And, Coach, a lot of people don't realize that when you play these tougher schedules, and someone like that, you kept the score close. Of course, they got away from you a couple scores late. But I'm going to tell you what, a tremendous game between you two guys. And tell us something about your team and how who your playmakers are going into last night.
It was kind of tough to hear about you, or hear what you were saying a little bit. I guess I don't have the best signal where I'm at either.
Coach, I got to tell you, cell phone service across the state of Georgia has not gotten any better. It's gotten worse over the last few years, and right here in Hawkinsville, lots of times I'm right in the middle of town. I'll end up with one bar. That's not good.
Oh yeah, yep. Y'all are down in Thomasville, right?
Yes.
Yep, and my wife's a Thomas County Central grad, so my in-laws live in Boston, Georgia. So, we're right there in the neck of the woods off 84. But we in our team, we've seen a lot of improvement since our scrimmage game. When we were playing a scrimmage game, I was worried a pretty good bit. But we scrimmaged Thompson, and we played Burke. We've got Strom Thurman next week. We played North Augusta, and we tell our kids we just want to see improvement in these areas each week, and we think we're getting better. Our young guys are getting more reps, and we've changed a little bit of identity offensively. We're still doing some of our spread stuff. We're doing some single wing stuff, and you just got to bounce ideas off other coaches that you're used to relying on and your mentors, and know your kids and try and do what works. And I think our kids are playing hard, and we tell them it's about a process of leading up the region play. So.
Coach, what's the health of your team right now?
We're healthy. We got a couple guys banged up last night, and there was some helmets flying last night. I can tell you that there was some hard hitting on both sides. I think I saw 4 helmets come off last night between both teams. So our kids were playing hard, and we're a little banged up at the running back position a little bit, or in the backfield position, I'll say, between quarterbacks and running backs. And we've rotated a good bit of guys in and out. We've used the dual quarterback system so far. And we think it's best for what our kids are doing. And we've seen some flashes, and those two guys support each other. So, but health-wise, we're okay. We hadn't had. We had a couple younger guys get banged up before the season started, but varsity-wise, we're okay.
We're talking Coach Barrett Davis, head coach at Evans. Coming up next week, Strom Thurman. Coach, listen, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Have a great weekend. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
Coach, did we lose you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. This cell service is absolutely awful for all of us.
Yep, I heard you saying about Strom Thurman, I'm pretty sure. But Strom Thurman's got a really good team. They've got a great quarterback. They've got some good receivers. Pretty sure they got a receiver going to Tennessee that came over from Aiken High. They've got some great skill kids. Coach Webb is in his second year there as head coach, and they went to either the quarterfinals or semifinals last year. I think they were a 12-win team last year, and we played them. It was an up and down game last year. They came to us. We were down 21-0 at halftime, and then our guys decided they wanted to play the second half, and it was 28-21. And we went for an onside kick to try and recover it after we scored. We come charging back all the way late third and fourth quarter. So, they're a good football team. They've already beat some great football teams. I think they're sitting around 3-1. Their only loss was to Midland Valley, I believe, who's 4-0 for the first time in a long time. They've got a good running back, Travion Dunbar, there. But no, they've got a sophomore quarterback and a senior quarterback that are completing about 75% of their passes. They're more of a air raid type team, and they're going to sling it around. So we've got to work a lot of coverage stuff this week.
Well, Coach, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me on.
All right, Coach.
Enjoy talking to y'all.
Thanks. That's Coach Barrett Davis. And folks, we apologize, but the cell service and most of the coaches we talk to are on the road somewhere, because that's the beauty of what we try to do, is to give them the opportunity to continue doing life, whatever it may be on the weekend. But part of that is sometimes you don't get good service.
Part of a perk of being a high school coach is on Saturdays you get to go watch your former players play on Saturday.
Or cut grass, or go to the lake, or do whatever your wife tells you to do.
Or have coaches meeting on the beach, right?
Absolutely. Back to the phone line we go. On the line with us now, Burke County head coach Franklin Stevens. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Doing good, Coach. Road game last night for you guys at Burke County. At Evans. I'll get it right in a minute. Jeez. And a good win last night, 29-13.
Yes, it was good to go on the road. Second one in a row. We've got one more to kind of complete our road trip, so we knew we were going to be on the road for a while based on the schedule. But I thought, being able to play in Augusta last night over in Evans, had a pretty good crowd. It's a great experience. It's, one of those things where it's a tough football game. Sometimes, as always, the things don't go the way you want them to go, but somehow we were able to persevere and find a way to win the game.
Coach, kind of break down the game as you head in the second half. I think y'all were real close. If you would kind of break it down for us.
Well, I tell you, we started off, and early in the game, on our first drive, actually third play, we threw a pick six, and we go down 7-0 And then we come back on the next offensive series, and we hit a jet sweep for about 50-some-odd yards for a touchdown. And then it's just kind of back and forth, and then we're marching down the field again, thinking we're about to get points, and we end up throwing an interception. And so that stalls the drive. And defensively, they did a good job. They've got some size, and I think they find their identity in the second half of last week's game where they're just going to try to line up and use that size to mash you. So they were able to control the ball, and even though they didn't get points, they were holding to the ball for a while. So we end up in the first half 7-7 going into the half. And then we come out in the third quarter and we actually score. We hold. We end up scoring again and going up 22-7. And then middle of the fourth quarter, we have a dang fumble. And initially, they pick it up and run it back for a touchdown. But for whatever reason, it was brought back. I'm not sure if it was sideline interference or what. Referees didn't really explain to what happened. But at the same time, they hit us on a big play. We don't fit right. And 2 plays later, they're in the zone, and it's 13-22. Actually, it's 22-14. And then we go on and on the next drive, and we score to go up 29-14 hole from there.
Coach, a good win on the road at Evans last night. What's the health of your team right now, Coach?
Well, actually, we're doing pretty good. We've got 1 or 2 guys that role players out. We got a kid that kind of got banged last night, so we'll get an evaluation on him this week and kind of see where he is. But overall, we're pretty healthy right now.
Coach, what you got on Oconee County at this point?
Well, actually, honestly, I just started taking a look at those, them and whatnot. I have no idea. I just know through the past years, they've been a good football program. I know that Coach Smith, I think he's there now. I know Coach Nolan, he's a heck of a coach. He did a good job before he left. I coached against Coach Smith when he was back at Jefferson, and I was in Lamar. And he did. I know he's a heck of a coach back then. So I know these guys are going to be coached up. They're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to play hard, tackle well, have a great kicking game. So it's going to be tough. The big issue we have right now is that you got to find explosive plays, and we just feel like we're not creating enough explosive plays to get off the field.
Well, Coach, at this point in the season, you guys are 3-0, and of course, Oconee County coming up next. Evaluation of how your team has progressed and how far along you feel you guys have gotten at this point.
Well, we feel like we're still kind of scratching the surface, especially offensively. It seems like it's been forever since we've been working to get the offense going. But at the same time, there's just still some things that we've got to get done and we're not good enough at right now to sit there and say, hey, we're a good football team. We're scratching the surface, but we still got guys that they've got to learn how to block. All of a sudden you begin to take those perimeter receivers inside a halfback, and they got to block defensive ends and linebackers. They don't always like that. So, offensively, we feel like, we're moving in the right direction. It's just that, we don't have those guys that, as they say, they're going to hit those explosive plays and all the big plays that you need during the course of the game. You're going to have to keep snapping the ball. And then defensively, I think we're playing well. We're just not creating enough turnovers, and we got to do a better job tackling and getting our blocks. If you look at it from a fundamental perspective defensively, what's a good defensive football team? Teams that run to the football, get our blocks, and tackle well, play the pass. So right now we're still hammering away at trying to do those things better. And of course, as always, we're focusing on special teams, and we feel like if we can be good in special teams, don't turn the football over offensively and play good defense, then we've got a chance to be in most games.
We're talking with Coach Franklin Stevens, head coach of Burke County. Coach, do you see Coach Parker very often?
We see Coach Parker quite frequently. So see him quite frequently. It's always good to see him. Like I said, before I ever took the job, we had a great relationship. We talk here and there. So, I mean, it's not like we have an estranged relationship or one of those. It's kind of interesting, you know, I've never taken over a job where I had a relationship with a former coach. But, however, with Coach Parker, I mean, he's always around, just kind of bumping around, doing whatever he's doing. And, I mean, he just has a lot of insight on, you know, how things work. You know, you think that because you're from Burke County, you have an understanding of how everything works, but you don't. You know, the things that have happened within the school system, and along with the football program, something as how concessions are being ran. You know, all those things are just insightful information that you get from him.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Well, do me a favor. Next time you see him, tell him I said hey, and I'm sure that he's probably still got a key to the office. He may even have an office somewhere in there somewhere.
He probably there's no telling. Like I said, he's always around.
Well, Coach, listen, it's great to talk to you, Coach Stevens. Have a great weekend. Good luck to you guys. We hope to talk to you again.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye. And I'm not kidding. I bet Coach Parker kept a key, and he may even have his own desk in that office somewhere. What a great guy to go in and replace. But I'm going to tell you, Coach Franklin Stevens is as good as they get as well, and he's a lot of fun to talk to as well.
Absolutely.
Great guys. Always. You got some scores for us.
Let's see. We got Parkview and North Gwinnett. Parkview came out on top of that one, 35-32. If there's some duplications, I apologize. East Coweta over Sandy Creek, 31-14. Let's see. Miller Grove over Campbell, 38-18. Let me see if I can pull some more ones up, Bruce. This thing just looks like it. Hang on one second, ladies and gentlemen. It was Osborne over Lakeside DeKalb, 35-0. That was a beat down. Glen Academy over Baker County, Florida. That's one of those board awards we're talking about. The Georgia school came out on top, 27-20. Kip Atlanta beat Forest Park, and I think we'll be talking to the Forest Park coach here pretty soon, 34-0. Northside Columbus over Shaw, 33-7. Clarkson over Cross Keys, 24-0. Windsor Forest over Islands, 21-7. Appling over Wayne County, 21-7. Hapeville Charter over Daughtry, 46-0. Man, they went down to down there and beat Johnny Gilbert and those guys. Worth County over Macon, Central Macon, 49-0. Glen Hills over Josie, 12-8. That was a defensive struggle. Terrell Panthers over Towers, 27-0. The road team won that one. Got another border game here. University Christian in Jacksonville, Florida, beat Charlton County 40-13.
Before we take the break, I want to mention one other score. It was East Lawrence over Academy of Richmond County, 21-17. That puts the Falcons at 2-1 with Johnson County arch rival coming up next week. We're going to take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
Mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
And for the first time today, I was wrong. In the door comes Eddie. I said he wouldn't get here for another 40, 45 minutes, and it's because he was flying. He's a jet.
Jet chat, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, man, listen. I remember. I guess it was Christmas of '72. I got an autographed Joe Namath electric football game.
Man,
I wish I had that sucker now.
Showing your age now.
Yeah, look at me. Come on, I'm showing my age all over.
Eddie, man, glad you're here. Hey, we went over some scores before the last break, and I want to talk about just one real quick. John Millage was winners last night over George Walton Academy, 34-7. That puts Coach Walls at 52-0 in his last 52 games. They have a 52-game winning streak. That's got to be pretty close to one of the top in the nation right there. 52 games in a row. That's great.
We go back to the. Excuse me. I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about over there. God, I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, talking about getting back to Coach Walls and John Millage. We used to play those guys. They were in our region when I coached, and he always had those guys prepared. And I'm telling you something, I don't care who it is. You go play John Millage or you host them, you better bring your lunch bucket because they're going to be playing some games.
I think he wants to cut his mic on.
I have no voice.
We go back.
He is.
I'm voiceless.
Go back to the phone lines. On the line with us now, Windsor Forest head coach Jeb Stewart. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning,
Coach. Congratulations, win over Islands, 21-7.
I appreciate it. It's always good to come out with a win.
I tell you, there's absolutely nothing better. It's great, I tell you. Coach, let's talk about your game a little bit, and then we want to kind of delve into your team a little bit and kind of look at next week.
It was a great win for our kids. We struggled the first couple of games of the season, and were able to win the past two. Started off real fast Friday night. Defense came through and got a fumble, and first play on offense, we hit a 40-yard touchdown pass. To get the scoring going, and in the second quarter, same kid that caught the touchdown pass, Marquise London, has a pick six. To put us up 12-0. And then third quarter, Marquise came through again and blocked the punt out of the end zone for a safety. And about midway through the third quarter, we just went on a long drive, just tried to kill the clock, and ended up scoring on a 28-yard run by Isaiah Cooper. Defense played lights out. I was so proud of the kids. Some that we thought could be really good players, they finally stepped up Friday night and showed Thursday night and showed what they could do.
Again, Coach, a very good win. Do me a favor. Let's talk a little bit about your staff. I mean, your assistants. Everybody knows who the head coach is, but the assistants are so important. You guys, they're your left hand, your right hand, and everything else in between. Sometimes.
My staff this year. This is the youngest staff I have ever had. I've got guys, my DC, he actually played for me the first year I was at Windsor. Jamario Blige graduated there in 2020 or 2021. Went off, played college, had an injury, and came back home. And I got him to come out and start helping last year. And, he stuck with it. And it's really great for the kids, got a lot of energy. He hadn't. The kids look at him and say, "Well, this guy hadn't played too long ago. He must know what he's talking about." And then I got Randall Corey, who also played at Windsor. Just graduated playing at Savannah State, doing offensive line, and then got a new guy that just got hired there at Windsor to teach. Wanted to come out and coach some football, and I laugh. They're all like half my age.
Wow.
So, got some really young coaches, but they're full of energy, and kids love them. They do what I ask them to do.
Coach, next Vidalia coming up next week at home. Any quick word on them?
We've watched a little bit of film on them, and they seem to be pretty tough, pretty physical. They've changed the style of offense they run. Looks like they're running wing T. We're probably going to get into them tomorrow, start breaking the film down and everything. I have a rule during the season. On Saturday, I go to the beach. It's a great thing about living in Savannah. My family knows on Saturday we go to the beach, and I'm going to shut all that off for a day.
Yeah, it sounds like you've been talking with Kyle Hockman down there a little bit, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Coach's meeting right there on the beach.
Every now and then I run into him out there. But, you got to get away from it for a little bit, or it's just going to run you dead.
Absolutely.
Well, Coach, take your family to the beach. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Coach. Thanks. The Kyle Hockman philosophy.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
If he's not on the beach, he's at the golf course.
Hey, 2 out of 2.
I remember him saying, "Can y'all hold a minute? I need to tee off." Ting.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
You do have to have some downtime. I'll tell you something. Coaching will wear you out if you don't have a balance there. Well, it really will.
The other thing is, it's not really just the coach; it's the family.
Yes.
That's a husband-wife thing. It's a commitment. From
it does take a special spouse, special wife to be able to put up with it. I promise.
Well, I tell you, it's kind of tough on old broadcasters too. that moonlights as a writer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Eddie.
The stories that we can tell about the ride are great, but there's a lot of stuff about that getting in late from a 2-hour drive, and while sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Eventually it catches up with you.
Oh, absolutely. I got in last night, and once the adrenaline got out of my system, I crashed at that point.
I crashed
pulled
real
into
too.
the house at 4 o'clock this morning.
Wow. Well,
the story of the missing keys.
Well, I went to bed about 1, and I woke up at about 4:30. So I'm back on it again, no doubt. Back to the phone lines. Walnut Grove head coach Robert Andrews with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning,
Coach. Glad to have you with us this morning. I hope you're out and about and doing things. Hopefully with your family, maybe.
Yeah, this morning we got soccer games all over the place, and it's kind of between them right now, so it's fun.
Well, Coach, I apologize sometimes to our listeners because we use so many cell phones with our coaches because, you may be headed to a ball game up in South Carolina. You may be going to the beach. You may be going to anywhere, and sometimes you don't get the service you want with them, but God knows you guys are living life, and that's the way we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes. It's fun to have the weekends for the family.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Coach, let's talk a little bit about your game last night at y'all hosted North Hall.
We did. They've got a good ball squad, and it was a crazy game. We had 2 offensive possessions in the first half, and they had 3, and we couldn't get them off the field offensively. They did a great job of converting on 3rd downs and 4th downs, and we couldn't get stops in the first half. Second half was more like a normal football game. But, they made plays when they needed to make plays, and we didn't last night. We're inexperienced, and it showed a lot. But we have grown from game 1 to right now, and I think we'll continue to grow through the season.
And, of course, I guess that's the best measure of stick you can have is the fact you continue to improve and get better. Coach, how's the health of your team right now? That's sort of a question that we're only 3 or 4 games in, depending on who you are. But sometimes the bumps and bruises add up quick.
Well, it's interesting. We started 18 new starters this year, and we got 4 guys back this past week that had not played a game. We got nicked up at the end of the summer with. One was a major quad strain, another was an ankle, and just had some injuries at the end of the summer that are just getting us back to full strength. But we're healthy other than that.
Coach, what can you tell us about your next opponent, Cedar Shoals?
They're athletic and they're big up front, and they've gotten off to a slow start this year. But it was the same last year, and we weren't prepared for the energy and the effort that they bring, but hopefully we'll be ready for it this year.
Well, Coach, listen, I know you've got stuff going on in front of you. We appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your time and spending it with us. We hope to get you on again in a few weeks. And listen, enjoy the weekend with the family, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, Coach, anytime.
Bye.
I tell you, guys, he's out there with the family and enjoying the weekend, and God bless him. I appreciate that. I don't think people realize how much we do appreciate the fact that these guys are living.
Right. Yeah, and it's like I said before, so important. You got to have a work-life balance, and as much as we love football, it is a job. When you're a coach, it is a job.
Absolutely,
and it's a job that it's more than 8 hours a day. I mean, 12, 15, sometimes about 20 hours a day.
Well, usually the good rule of thumb is 8 hours a day working, 8 hours a day working on football.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
I walk the mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The Big City Lawyer with Small Town Shine. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. As we continue, back to the phone lines we go. On the line with us now, Coach Josh Ingram, head coach of veterans. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Coach. Did I hear some background noise somewhere, guys?
We're out at a ballpark, man. The girls got soccer games this morning. So.
Second soccer matches we've been to. We were just at soccer matches with the coach Robert Andrews of Walnut Grove. No, I don't know what that noise was. I couldn't figure it out. It sounded a little bit different.
It sounded like turkeys.
But that's what I thought I heard. Coach, glad you're with us. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, and we're glad to have you with us, and we hope to make you a regular part of the family.
Absolutely, man. Anytime we talk ball and support these kids, man, I'm all for it.
That's what we live for. Coach, before we get into the game as much, let's get a background on you, who you are, where you came from, and what brought you to veterans.
Absolutely, man. Well, I played ball up at Maryville College in Tennessee. After I graduated, stayed there and coached a year. From there, I went to Lakeside High School in Evans, Georgia, with a guy named Jarrett Troxler. He just got hired on as a young head coach, and I came in as an offensive line coach for him. And then after the first season there, I was promoted to OC. We stayed there for 5 or 6 years, and then left to go to Thompson High School in Thompson, Georgia, and I was able to coach under Rob Ridings there. Had a pretty good little run, and great people. My mother lived in Cochran in Blakely County, and so we were looking kind of after the. We did our thing at Thompson and just found an area where, we kind of settled down, and football was good, the community was good, football was important. And so that led me to get in contact with Coach Milan Turner when he took the veterans job, and it was just the right fit, man. It was, a great head coach that's done it right, that's able to build people up and build men. And I wanted to go work for him, and I knew that he was, probably going to retire in the next 5 or 6 years, and so we were able to come in and do a great job, and man, blessed that the admin thought enough about me to promote me when he left to go to Georgia Southern. And man, we love it here. It's a great school, great kids, and we're trying to build it every day. We tell our kids we're trying to climb and just do it right, man.
Tell you what, Coach, Milan Turner is a great man, not just a great football coach, but more importantly, a great man and a great leader of men. And if you were mentored under him, you got some good mentorship, I'll tell you that.
I ain't no doubt, man. He's one of the best.
Yep.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your game last night. You guys had a wild shootout with Perry last night, Coach Kevin Smith and company, and tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, definitely have a lot more gray hairs this morning after that game. It was it was a shootout, man. It was fun, great atmosphere. We had military appreciation night, so all active and duty members of the military and veterans got in for free, and just a lot of cool things going on. And we knew Perry was good. You know, they're ranked very, very high in Class 4A, and you know, you watch them on film. They just had a big win against Jones County. I had an emotional loss against Hoko week 1. We knew we had our hands full. Luckily, we were off last week, so we had 2 weeks to get our kids ready, and you know, it was just back and forth all night. We took the opening kick off, 99, got the ball on the 1, scored, and then missed the extra point, and it was just back and forth from that. We felt like we kind of were chasing that 1 point all night long, so we had to go for 2 some in the second half. But our kids played hard. They gave it everything they got, and you know, Perry made one more play than we did right there at the end, and you know, that's the difference in the game. But it was a great early test for us. It was a playoff atmosphere, and I think our kids grew up, and I think they're believing that they can play with anybody and compete with anybody.
Coach, coming up next, someone you may be familiar with, Lakeside Evans.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. Coach Hibbets, as the head coach there, I worked for him for a year before I went to go to Thompson. And, you know, that program means a lot to me. It gave me my first shot, you know, being a coordinator. So it was fun to have them on schedule, rekindle some of them relationships I have with some of them guys. They get to come to Warner Robins, you know, at Freedom Field. So we're excited about that and seeing everybody and just, you know, keeping the train rolling.
Well, Coach, listen, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time and spending it with us. We'd like to call you again sometime in the next few weeks and make you a regular with us.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate y'all, man.
All right,
it was
Coach.
a pleasure.
Have a great time. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy the soccer.
Absolutely, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Y'all take care.
All right. Bye.
You know, Bruce, it always amazes me when we sit here and listen to the coaches. A lot of times I'll listen just to learn.
Right.
And these coaches, a lot of them are coaching. They're choosing to coach under somebody that can mentor them.
Right.
In a good way. And he picked one of the best.
I'll tell you what, Coach Turner he's a real deal.
Yeah. I mean,
and I tell you, I've heard him speak before, and he puts his faith out there, and he said, you know what, this is who I am. If you don't like it, you can get rid of me. It's fine with me. And he's a good leader of men, no doubt.
Yeah.
And of course, we got our first contact with him back many years ago.
Oh, yeah.
In a place in a high school called ECI.
Yep.
You don't want to go to ECI.
He brought some new guys with him too. Chad Simmons is another one he brought with him from there.
Dublin can attest to that.
Back to the phone line we go. Well, on the line with us is Coach Ed Dudley, Blessed Trinity. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Coach, I would say I couldn't do any better, but I obviously get on the phone with you guys, and some of y'all doing much better.
Absolutely. Feeling very, very fortunate this morning to squeak out a win at St. Pius last night and keep our record clean.
Coach, one quick question. Are you in a soccer match?
Absolutely not. I'm at 8th grade football because it's Saturday morning in the fall, right? That's what we do.
You broke the string. We've had 2 soccers in a row.
I got you, but you got to remember I'm much older than those young coaches.
And
my soccer attending days are over.
You're also a scout for the future too.
Absolutely.
That is exactly right. That's exactly right.
Coach, let's talk a bit about your game last night. Wow, when we talked about it on the air last night during our ball game, that had to be one of the biggest games in North Georgia, especially with the private type schools and the programs in history these guys have.
Yeah, I think it was a big game. Definitely for me, I'm a St. Pius grad. It's the first time I've been back in that stadium and coached there, and just a real exciting night. We fumbled we've lost fumbles the first 3 times we touched the ball, so we made it a lot more exciting than it had to be. And then there at the end, went for 2 and missed it, and then we're able to get a field goal off of a St. Pius turnover and win the game. So all in all, crazy game, wild from start to finish.
Coach, let's talk about your transition to Blessed Trinity. I mean, golly, the program and the history there that's been established there over the years. What a program and what a place to come into, especially with the likes of Coach McFarland, who had been there as late as 2020.
Yeah, it's been a great transition. I thank the players almost every day for welcoming me in, and that we see at every level that first year is a tough transition year. To get players to buy in and do that kind of stuff, and our guys have welcomed me with open arms, and it's been great so far. So far, so good.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your staff that you assembled there, and what does it look like?
Well, we were able to bring back some guys that I was coaching with at Walton High School back in the 2000s. Trip Allen, my good friend and longtime offensive coordinator, came in with me. Chuck Goddard and Leo Barker, two of my old defensive coordinators, are working on the staff. My son Gordon does our running back, so a lot of familiarity with the group. Robert Matthews, who was a longtime Georgia high school coach and 8-year college football coach, has come out of retirement to help us with our offense. So we need help with our offense right now, but we feel like we're going to get it straightened out as we go forward.
Coach, looking forward, Marist, Coach Alan Chadwick, 39 years there, and what a great guy he is. And I tell you, you're going against a lot of history there, aren't you?
No question about it. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a matchup, a big hill for us to climb. But that's why you coach, and that's why these guys play. They want to play the best, and in this area, Marist is certainly one of them, if not the best. And we're excited about this upcoming game. We know what's in front of us: 100 years of football and tradition, and a great program. So we just got to play well and eliminate the mistakes that plagued us last night. And I think if we can do those things, now if we can play clean, we'll have a chance this Friday.
Coach, one other question. As you look out on the field, how many guys that you see out there that may get some playing time in the next couple of years?
Well, we have 35 eighth graders on this squad, and several of them are very, very talented, and they will play early in the program at BT, and maybe even a couple of guys that'll play next year. So we're excited about this group. The 7th grade just pulled off a great win over a strong Marist 7th grade program, and we think things are headed in the right direction at Blessed Trinity.
Well, Coach, listen, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I've considered you a friend for many years, even going back earlier than the time I met you at Carrollton with the baseball championship game.
Well, I've always been a big fan of the show. In my time at Ware County, we were certainly all locked in on Saturday morning, and just love what you guys do to promote high school football.
Coach, have a great weekend. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
See you soon, man. Take care.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye-bye.
Coach Ed Dudley, golly, wow. He has been around a while. I've interviewed him many times. And the first time I got to meet him in person was at a baseball championship game, Chris County, on the road. I believe it was 2012, up there. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear this voice, and I turn around and here's my voice. And we locked eyes immediately. We knew exactly who each other was. And Coach Dudley, I mean, geez, I've been a fan of his for a long time.
Yeah, he's a good man. He's been around, built some good, strong programs wherever he's been.
And he's been to a few places throughout the state of Georgia, no doubt about it. Before we go to commercial, I want to remind you, you can check us out on YouTube, XL Sports Network. That's the letter X, the letter L, Sports Network. Go to YouTube, type it in, and look, we've got all kinds of stuff going on there. And, of course, you can check us out at xlsportsnetwork.net. We're going to take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at this steakhouse restaurant in
I walk the
Hawkinsville.
mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at this Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils!
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show as we continue. The gang's all here.
You know, Bruce, you talked about my Jets hat. I
Yes.
gotta say,
I've got one just like it.
I know you got this one for me. I wouldn't have bought one. I'm a Pack fan. Instead, this goes deep. But in honor of you, and last night, I thought, well, what can I do to help Bruce? I said, wear my Jets hat. But I got to thinking. You talked about Joe Namath.
Yes.
He was quarterback at New York this year.
I have no idea.
Would you ask a question?
I have no idea.
I asked him who's quarterback
at Jets this year.
Oh, let me think. I think he played college ball at Cal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he used to be. Let me think. Green Bay, maybe.
Yeah.
He's got a brother that's a broadcaster on the SEC network.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. He's got New York standing on its head. They're not even talking about the Giants right now. It's everything. Hard Knocks was about the Jets. Everything is about the Jets.
Wait till about week 3.
Wait till he gets his bell rung week 1.
Wait till about week 3.
We go back to the phone line. On the line with us now, Coach Clay Stevenson, head coach of Calhoun. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, Coach. Glad to have you with us. If Candace talk a little bit about football and about what's going on there. First, let's get a little bit of background on Coach Clay Stevenson.
Oh, yes, sir. Been here at Calhoun my whole career. I've been head coach for this is my 5th year. We've lost our opener, won 3 in a row, so we got things rolling right now. So got a big game next week with Sonoraville.
Coach, I'm going to tell you what, there's a very rich tradition. I don't have to tell you, you've been there, you lived it. High expectations at Calhoun, and I tell you what, my hat's off to you for stepping into that program. You, like I said, you've been there your whole career, and I tell you what, this program is one that of a handful that's really looked at hard across the state.
Yes, there are very high expectations, but that's what we signed up for. We're very blessed to be here, and we've got a great, you mentioned the great community, great coaching staff, and the kids. The kids make it special. So it's definitely blessed to be here, and something that we don't take for granted. And just trying to keep it going the way it's been going for the last 20 years or so.
Coach, last night on the road at Cedartown, 35-21 win. Kind of break it down for us.
No, it was a great game. It was a hard-fought game. Cedartown is a great program. They were a yard away last year from winning a state championship in 4A, and so we knew we had to go there on the road. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Second half we pulled away, but we're very proud of the kids and the coaches for going on the road in a hostile environment, I guess, and coming away with the win.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about your offense and what makes it click.
Yeah, so last night we played really well. I think it's our best offensive game that we've had the first 4 games. So we've got a returning quarterback in Trey Townsend, and last night he kind of controlled the game. He was in touch with everything that was going on in the run game, screen game, and passing. So he had his best game. And then running back Caden Williams ran behind our offensive line, who's they played their best game as well. Had 165 yards, I think, a couple touchdowns, maybe 50 yards receiving. So those 2 guys made some plays, and our tight end, Imari Winston, continues to just make play after play. I think he had a couple touchdowns receiving as well.
Coach, after the big win last night over Cedartown, coming up next, Sonoraville.
Yeah, Sonora was our rival. It's our in-county school that's maybe 5 or 6 miles away from us, and it's homecoming for us, which always, as a head coach, always kind of leaves you a little bit worried going through the week. But hopefully our kids will be able to have fun with everything that's going on, but also keep the focus on Friday night at 7:30, and I think we'll be able to do that. But it should be a fun week for us and a fun atmosphere and game on Friday.
Coach, just a final comment. You guys have played a pretty good schedule. You led it off with Blessed Trinity. Just a few minutes ago, we were on the phone with Coach Ed Dudley. Yeah, he's a great coach. They, some games that you play, and they were way more ready to play than we were that first game. But I'm glad to see him back in Georgia coaching football. I think he got out of it a little bit, but he's a legend, and luckily they'll be off our schedule next year because they're doing some great things down there, and then we've continued to have a pretty tough schedule as well. So we got one more game. I've got an off week, so we're trying to hopefully get a win Friday and take a week off. Well, Coach, listen, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Have a great weekend. We look forward to getting you on again in the weeks to come. Hey, thanks, guys. All right, Coach, have a great weekend. Bye. Bruce, when you think of region or 5A, Region 7, you think of 2 schools. I mean, it's tough top to bottom, but you think of Calhoun, you think of Cartersville. Absolutely. And Cartersville is usually the toughest game on their schedule. They start off Cartersville 9/29. Yep. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with more of the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
I walk the mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday morning quarterback show. As we continue, we'll take a 10-second break for our stations to identify themselves on the XL Sports Network. And it's top of the 11 o'clock hour. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll do a little bit of traveling with Eddie and John. Eddie previews on what's coming up.
Prize for you, so be ready.
Slippery Rock.
No, not Slippery.
Oh, jeez.
We're gonna. It's kind of scattered all over the place. We're gonna talk a little Texas A&M and Miami, North Carolina and App State, Oregon and Texas Tech, Auburn, Cal, Washington, Wisconsin, and we're gonna end up with Alabama and Texas.
Alabama and Texas.
I didn't even know is there something going on in Alabama? I thought
that's the game.
I thought the school that plays in Alabama is out in California.
It is right now. If you watch the message boards, it's getting real heated in Alabama.
Let me tell you, I was at the Atlanta Air Traffic Control Center this week doing some work, and
you're right close to the campus, then.
Yes, sir. There's already air traffic flow control restrictions in and out of Tuscaloosa. I'm not even kidding. That's true.
No, I know.
We already set up flow restrictions during the week, getting ready for this game. They're expecting a big crowd, folks coming in from Austin, and really all over the state of Texas. So it's going to be fun.
Texas money's going to be in that.
Oh yes, sir.
In Montgomery,
guarantee.
But I don't think they're going to be happy when they leave.
I don't know. I'll tell you what. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be one of the best games of the season.
Yes. And
I want you to think about something while we're waiting to get Coach on the phone. You look at last year, that game, that was a close game, and Texas played that game with the backup quarterback on one leg. And I think that offense has gotten better this year. They got some dudes catching footballs over there.
Yeah, but
I think they're up. Now, you remember last year they started two true freshmen at tackle. Those kids have gotten a whole year's experience now. And I'm going to tell you something. Jalen Milrose is not Bryce Young. I'm not sitting here predicting it, but I think you're going to, playing 101,000 there at Tuscaloosa is going to be a challenge. But don't be surprised Texas pulls this one out.
Right now the spread, I think, is 7 points.
I would take that. If I was a bet man, I'd put money on Texas on that.
Well, the thing that I would say is the over-under is 4.5. I haven't checked it today. I should probably go in and check. That's going to be blown out of the water.
I don't know.
I'm telling you something, guys. And I know you're a big Georgia fan.
Right.
You're a big Georgia fan. But you can see in the birth of a good quarterback at Alabama.
You think so?
Yes. I think the kid's going to be good.
Is that the surprise?
No, the surprise.
Yeah, let's get to the surprise. Oh, well, okay, we'll just wait. So it'll be.
You brought us a sack of crystals.
I wish I had, man. I hadn't had anything this morning. I was late getting up, and I hope you got my message last night.
I got it.
Guys,
I was preoccupied when you tried to call me.
I don't want to know.
You don't.
But last night, generally we have what we call the Waffle House tradition. After every game that Chris plays, if my son's hungry, which normally he is, we go to Waffle House.
Love it.
And if it's close, if they're away game and it's close, that's where we go. It doesn't matter. We got there, and he was waiting. All of a sudden, he called and said, "Dad, I need somebody to come get me. I've lost my keys."
Oh no!
So we already ordered for him.
We go to the phone line. On the line with us now, Coach Kevin Smith of Perry. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, glad to have you with us this morning. Tough, long night last night, but it turned out great in the end, didn't it?
Yes, sir. It was tough and long, and it did. We did have success at the end, and played a very good veterans football team. It was if you were a fan of the game, it was very fun to watch. But if you were a coach, it was very stressful.
Yeah, that's kind of what Coach Josh Ingram said earlier when we talked to him. He said it was a well of a ball game, but it was very, very stressful.
Yes, sir, it was. And, Veterans has a really good football team. Coach Ingram and his staff do an outstanding job. They had an outstanding plan last night, and, we were able to overcome a few more mistakes than them and end up scoring, one more than they did.
Coach, that's an old-fashioned neighborhood brawl there, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It's been, it hadn't been one-sided. I know we may have won the last couple of years, but they went 2 or 3 years winning. Then we went back and forth, and I think we beat them a couple of years in a row now, and we're just about 6 or 8 miles apart. So our kids know each other, and it was just a very intense, great crowd, great atmosphere. I tell our guys all the time, this is why you play the game. You want to play in these kind of games. And when you play good competition, you want to, in order to be the best, you want to play the best. And I think that Veterans definitely has a good football team, good program, and good tradition.
Coach, kind of break it down for us. Tell us a little bit how the game unfolded for you guys, and especially that finish.
Yeah, we kicked off and had a little breakdown in coverage. They ran it all the way back to the 1 and ended up scoring 3 plays later. And then we go down the field. They missed their extra point. Then we go down the field and score. And then it was sort of just back and forth. I think we went up. Then they come back. They had I don't ever think it ever got 2 scores. It was just always back and forth. And they made a lot of plays on 4th down, 3rd down. A lot of times we would be right there to get to Jake, their quarterback, and he'd somehow get it to Preston Bird, and the rest was the Preston Bird show. And but it was a very back and forth game. It was a very physical game. Playmakers making plays, and it's a high scoring game. It was, us defensive minded coaches, we don't like that, but our offensive coaches, they like scoring a lot of points. So, but I was just very proud of our guys last night because we hit a lot of adversity. We had some timely penalties last night that kept their drives alive, and we had to overcome that. And then we went down. We went down by points, and had to come back to score to go back up. And they had mixed their first extra point, so we kicked our extra point and put us up by 8. And then we had to stop them at the end, and they had less than a minute left, and they driving the ball. They had very good play calling and got themselves in a position where they could take a shot. But it's a little bit easier on defense when they got to throw it, and you can pin your ears back and back everybody up. And we were able to get them on the ground and seal the game.
Coach, I tell you what, kind of just looking back and adding this one, another one, when you guys played Houston County and then this one, Veterans last night, a lot of tickets had to be sold for those 2 ball games.
Oh, man. Both maximum capacity crowds. And that's what's good about our area. You know, Houston County's a King County rival game, Veterans. We even had a good, we scrimmaged Northside. We have a good crowd over there for a scrimmage game. And, football's important to this community, and it's important to each school. And when you put products out on the field like our local teams do, people want to come see it, and it makes it fun. And, football's big in the South, it's big in Middle Georgia, and if you play football or you coach football, this is a great place to be.
Well, Coach, you haven't. I know you touched on some of your players, but I'll be honest with you. The one that stands out to me is Coulter Jen. He's a senior this year. He's been there a couple of years for you. He's the ultimate field general, isn't he?
Yeah, Coulter, he came over to us in January, and he fit right in with our guys. He's managed the offense really well. He has a very strong arm, and we got some very good receivers. Shakari Anderson's committed to Cincinnati. Rodarius Lewis, Khalid Miller, Bill Sparks, Corey Pettigrew. We've got plenty of guys to get the ball to. And then, our running game has been very impressive this year. Running back Mike Gordon, he's got 10 rushing touchdowns in 3 games, and he's probably approaching 500 yards rushing in 3 games. And then our backup running back, little sophomore Corian Daniels, ain't too far behind him. And anytime you can run the ball and throw the ball, don't score points. And we just got to get some things cleaned up on our defensive side of the ball and our coverage secondary. And we knew that coming into the season. We got 10 new starters on defense. All of our secondaries new this year. And so they're going through some growing pains, and they're seeing some of the best wide receivers and quarterbacks that we don't see until later on down the road. So I'm real proud of our guys, fighting, and it feels good to come out on top of one of these first games.
Coach, next road trip to Peach County. Any thoughts on them?
Yeah, Peach County, I know they're a little struggling right now. Coach Westbrook's a good football coach, trying to get his guys going. The Peach and Perry game is a big rival. We were very fortunate to be able to beat Peach last year, and I think last year was the first time that Perry had beaten Peach County since 2006. And it was a real intense game, and it's sort of like the Veterans and Hoco game. You can throw all the records out the book. Those guys, it's going to be an intense rival game again, and a big atmosphere. But we're looking forward to going over there and competing against them, and trying to get better as we move on through our season.
Well, Coach, listen, congratulations on the victory last night. Appreciate you coming on with us, and good luck next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all you do to cover sports in our area.
Thanks, Coach. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir.
Bruce, growing up in Bon Air, right in the middle of all that great football over there.
The tradition.
It is tradition, and I'm very proud of what Coach Smith has done at Perry. Perry there went through some years where they weren't really that good.
They had some athletes, but it's like he was able to put the package together.
Yeah, they have always had athletes. When we were in junior high, we hated playing those guys because they were good, and then we get to high school and they couldn't compete.
You got to understand, it was used to be, when you talked Houston County football, it was Perry, Warner Robins, Northside. That was it.
That was it.
Those were
there was no Veterans of Hoco then.
And they were in their own part of the county.
Yeah.
And all those athletes were there.
Right.
I can remember going and my cousin played years ago.
Back to the phone line we go. On the line was now Coach Corey Johnson, Forest Park. Good morning, Coach. Coach, can you hear me?
Hello.
Coach.
How you doing? Yes, I can hear you.
Good. Basketball, volleyball?
I'm a little background noise right now. I'm trying to get away from it.
We live for background noise. We hear it all the time.
I understand that.
Coach, where you at?
I'm at my nephew fall league basketball game.
Okay, all right. We've been into a couple volleyball matches this morning.
And soccer matches.
And soccer matches. So we've been
football
busy.
games. Golf.
And golf.
Yeah, golf. And on the beach.
Out on the beach. Coach, tell us a bit about your team this year.
Well, we're young. We're young. We have a lot of first-time players, so we're back to square one. We're, teaching fundamentals, understanding the game of football, and, just trying to have fun in the process.
And Coach, that's the main thing is teach the kids, have a little bit of fun, and you get those things heading in the right direction, things can happen. Coach, you took over a program that last season has struggled for many years, but we know that there's been players come out of that area and some good teams. And tell us sort of about your foundation and how you're building it.
Well, one of the main things when you're talking about building a foundation, you're going to have to keep your athletes, at home. And the unfortunate part, because of our records and the play, we have a lot of guys that, instead of coming to Forest Park, they opt to go to other schools. So the main thing is we got to make sure we keep our guys that are zone for us, make sure they understand that we need them in order to build the foundation. They're our building blocks, our pillars, the things that we need in order to become stronger. So that's one of our main goals, is to make Forest Park look good to these athletes and want to come and want to build. I was a part of the Forest Park program years ago when, we won our first 3 games in over 3.5, 4 years. And after that, we took off. I mean, there was so many athletes that's in the Forest Park area that, I realized that we had to get the guys in the school building to come out and play. Because of the records, they don't want to come out and play. They'll much rather just be a student as opposed to coming out and helping the football program build. Then, on top of that, you got to make sure the guys are getting their books, make sure they're getting their grades, they're eligible to play. That was the next thing that when we turned the program around some 30 years ago, that was the main pillars that we had to put in play, along with a strong weight program. Strong weight program, accountability, making sure that the kids understand accountability, and just a work ethic.
Coach, what about facilities? What kind of facilities do you guys have? Do y'all share a stadium or what?
Yes, we have a. That's the next thing. I mean, we don't have a home stadium. We're in Clayton County, so we have 4 stadiums. Unfortunately, we don't have a stadium at the school. Our condition is not the best condition. And that's another thing that I'm fighting against as well. The weight program, the weight room. We haven't been able to use our weight room all summer, so that doesn't help. Our practice facility is not in the best standing as well. So, we just gotta have something to hold the kids over. And right now we don't have that. A couple wins and seeing that we're coming, we're scrapping, we're coming out of the mud with it. That's gonna be the first step in changing the program.
Coach, your coaching staff, how is it?
I think I have a great coaching staff. I have a couple guys that have been with me other places, whereas we took over programs that were struggling, and we had success. We have tons of kids that we coach that all across the country that's making, major contribution to, universities. And, it was the same thing going over there. It was just buy-in. We had to get buy-in. And these guys, when I told them about the state of the program, they believed in me. they believe in me. They've worked with me, and they've seen the things that we was able to do together. So I had a couple to come over with me. I actually went and grabbed two of my high school teammates who I know they understand the struggle because we was in it together, and unfortunately we lost one of them at the end of the school year last year. But those guys there, like I say, they understand what we're up against. They understand that we got an uphill battle, and everybody is throwing things down the hill. So, which makes it even more difficult for us. But we know that we can stay, persistent, consistent, and we will, we'll get to the top.
Well, Coach, it sounds like you got a good game plan, and your heart and your mind's in the right place. We want to wish you guys a lot of luck. We want to stay in touch with you and talk to you some more throughout the course of the year, and kind of give us updates of what's going on and how the program's coming along.
That would be my pleasure. I appreciate
Coach.
you guys.
Anytime, Coach. Have a great weekend.
Okay, thank you. You too.
All right. That was Coach Corey Johnson as they tried to build a program at Forest Park. We're going to take a break. You listen to the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
Mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show as we move close to the bottom of the hour at 11 o'clock hour. I want to remind you, take your family out to the Steakhouse Restaurant for Sunday dinner. It's like Thanksgiving every Sunday throughout the course of the year at the Steakhouse.
If you're hungry, take your family out to the Steakhouse.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure I'll be there tomorrow after church.
If you like turkey and you like dressing and you like the gravy and the cranberry sauce and great salad,
I do.
Fried chicken,
string beans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then usually I'll kick in a specialty like shrimp creole and rice, or my favorite.
Carved roast beef.
Huh?
Carved roast beef.
Yeah. I mean, it's. Oh, God.
And we get ready to go back to the phone line. And now on the phone line with us, Coach Sean Calhoun, head coach of Colquitt County. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing good, Coach. What a heck of a ball game you guys had last night with Lee County, and things worked out well for you, didn't it?
The overall game and the final score, absolutely. Obviously, we did not play a perfect game, not even close, but we made a bunch of plays and thought defense played really, really well. Lee County ended up getting basically about 2 big plays on us, but outside of that, defense played really well, and offense was able to, take advantage of some short fields and really big win.
Coach, we talked about it many times during our broadcast. I've been doing Hogginsville Red Devil football since 1993, and that was one of the games that we looked at a lot during the game last night. Is you two guys, because I tell you, when it comes to South Georgia and you got Colquitt County and Lee County playing, it's a lot of eyes on it.
Yes, sir. When you got 2 programs that have a rich history, and definitely, within the past 10 to 15 years, just being so relevant, and a lot of wins and good coaches and good players, that ends up being a big matchup, and a lot of people are interested in games like that.
No doubt about it, and I tell you, that one, probably made a lot of people happy. From your neck of the woods, the ones from the other side not as happy. But Coach, I tell you, a game like this is what high school football is all about.
Yes, sir. I 100% agree. The atmosphere was electric. Stadium was slam packed, and it got really loud at times on both sides. And it was just so fun and so exciting to coach in, the players to play in, and it was an awesome atmosphere. Packer Nation showed out. Lee County traveled great, and just glad that we were able to come away with a victory, because we go into a bye week, and you never want to go into a bye week with a defeat. So that was real big for us.
Coach, tell us a little bit about the game itself.
Excuse me? Sorry, you broke up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Tell us a little bit about the game itself. I mean, it was a tough game. Tell us a little bit how it broke out for you.
Yes, sir. So we came out, and they got the ball first, and we stopped them, and then offense went right down the field and scored. And then I want to say they went. Then they came back down, and it was 7-7. And then we scored and then kicked a field goal, and then they did the same. So it was like 24-14 there for a little bit of time. And one of the things that we got to learn how to do is completely take a game over. We had a couple times in the second quarter where we could have made it a 3-score game, and that's what we got to learn how to do, especially against these really good teams that are never going to quit and they're never going to back down, and they can always make a comeback. We got to be able to take advantage. And then third quarter, we kind of pulled away. I want to say it was we got up 37-13, and then they hit a deep pass late in the fourth quarter to make it 37-20. But we almost took a kick return to the house. We tackled their punter inside the 10-yard line, and so offense and defense made some really good plays, but our special teams made some really, really good plays. Lee had a handful of 15-yard penalties, which we took advantage of, and the Georgia high school this year really makes a lot of new emphasis on hitting a defenseless receiver, and they got called on a bunch of them. I agreed with all of them, but one, I definitely think Lee County had a legit gripe on one. But outside of that, if the defender is not wrapping up with his arms, then, I mean, it's going to get called. And so I thought the referees did a really good job. And, we got to play more consistent ball on offense. And but that's vaguely how the game went, and being a big win for the Pack.
Coach, one final question. How healthy your team at this point going into the off week?
We only have one starter out, and he's actually been out the whole season. So, knock on wood, we have everybody. We had two starters that came back against Lee that had been out the week prior, so it was real good. We got a couple shoulders, a couple ankles, just sore, and and that's going to happen when you play such a physical game, and then against a physical opponent like Lee County. So we'll definitely rest up this bye week, and then we play Cedar Grove on ESPNU. So it's my first time ever being on ESPN. So we'll be really excited about that. Obviously, Cedar Grove is really good, so we'll rest up and try to become 5-0.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you taking our call. Appreciate having you on. Congrats on the win last night. Good luck with Cedar Grove in 2 weeks, and have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me as always. Go Pack.
All right, Coach. Thanks. We're going to take a break. You listen to Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show right here on the XL Sports Network.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
I walk the mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We're at just after the 11:30 time. We'll be joining John in just a little bit as he has to kind of rearrange things where he's at. And we're going to go to Eddie and Chuck as they talk a little bit college football.
Yeah, let's start off with Utah Baylor. Utah 6.5 point favors. Over under is 51.5. Utah's picked to win it. I think people are selling Baylor a little short.
Well, you look at what happened to them last week, and I can understand why they're cutting them short. Dave Aranda is a great defensive coach. I don't know what happened last week. I do know this. Kyle Whittingham's also a great coach.
Yeah.
And whenever they've been doubted. That Utah team has been doubted. And what have they done? Won 2 straight Pac-12 championships, and they beat their opponent they played both times they played them in the last 2 years. 2 great teams, USC last year and then Oregon the year before, beat them both twice. So I know this on the road, and you know as well as I do, when you're talking about college and high school football, kids play different on the road than they do at home. But I still, if I'm betting on this, I'm taking Utah, giving up the points, taking Utah, and I'll take the over in that game.
I just think Baylor's got a chip on the shoulder, and I think that's what's going to come out. Yeah. The next one we can throw in there is SMU and Oklahoma. Now, this one by no means should be a close game. I just want to look at SMU and see what the ACC is getting next year, for one.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's got – they're better ball team this year than they were last year, I think.
Year 2 with Brent Venables getting some of his guys in there.
Yeah, Oklahoma's picked by 15.5, over under 68.5. I think that the ACC is going to look and say, "Ooh, why did we do this?"
Yeah,
it's got to be money.
I don't think the movement in the ACC in and out is finished yet. So we'll see about that.
No, I don't either.
I would take Oklahoma and give up the points on that. And as far as 68.5, I think I'll take the under in that.
I threw this one in here just because of the fact that USC to me has not played like I thought they would. Quarterback play is not. He's supposed to be a Heisman Trophy winner. Everybody's talking about he may sit out a year if he doesn't like the team that drafts him, whole 9 yards. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not sold on the guy yet. They're picked to win over Stanford, 29.5 points, over under 71.5. USC's picked to win it. I think they will win it. But unless they play better than they have, it's not going to be nowhere near what everybody's predicting.
Well, Stanford played Hawaii last week, and it's not really a good measurement, I don't think. And USC, they struggled on defense, and they have not figured that out yet. No. I don't think Lincoln Riley's figured out that you've got to play all 3 phases of the football. And, the defensive side it just seems to me like he hasn't figured that out. So I don't know that I've got 29 as a point spread. I would take Stanford to beat the spread. I think USC's going to win the football game. I don't think they're going to beat them by 29.5. As far as over and under, I'm showing 69.5. No tackling skills whatsoever on that defense.
No.
I might take the over. That may be the over halfway through the third quarter right there. So I'll take the over.
Lincoln Riley is a good coach. He's a good offensive coordinator, but I am not sold on him as a head coach.
No, I'm not either.
I'm sorry. I hate to knock a coach. Temple and Rutgers. Rutgers is 9-point favorites, 44 points over under. Rutgers is picked to win, which I think they will. Rutgers is one of those teams I'm watching in the ACC. They interest me. I've watched them all season long, and they could shake things up a little bit.
Yeah, you'd be in the Big Ten.
Big Ten, I'm sorry.
The Big Ten. Greg Schiano was, he did really good at Rutgers when he was there before he moved on and coming back. I think that I don't know how competitive they're going to be in the East, on the Pac-10 East. But with this game here, I'm showing an 8-point spread. I would take Rutgers in the points there, and 44 is the over and under. I think that I would take the over in that.
Yeah, I'm looking at my board, man, because I think we've gone over on time. So we're going to take it a break here.
We're having too much fun here.
Saturday morning quarterback show.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in
I walk the
Hawkinsville.
mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back in Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We're talking a little college football here. My man, coach over there, Chuck. Bruce is on his phone texting away at all these high school football coaches. I've got my Jets hat on for Bruce. He was emotional last night. I could hear the tears dropping.
Hey, you know what? I started choking up just watching him, man.
I know it's very seldom that Bruce gets choked up like that. I will throw my one thing out. To me, it was a mirror of the game we played against Marion County, 2015. The field goal that shocked them, and it shocked us too because we hadn't made a field goal all night. But that game is one of historical in Hawkinsville, Marion County, because that's the game that catapulted us into the state championship game, and we know that ended with a state championship win. So
that's awesome.
And look at Bruce; he's got all that stuff.
Look at me!
I still remember it. I mean, we still got video. There's still a video of the it wasn't an extra point; it was a actual field goal. That is, the ball's like in slow motion, and that was one of those things that.
Bruce can't keep his.
I got to. That kick took 10 minutes to come down behind the goalpost. I'm telling you, I remember saying, "The kick is up. The kick is up." It's down. It's cut through.
We win.
I mean, it took that long.
A long one. No, it wasn't a long one.
Would you end it that the stadium was worse than Bonkers?
On one half the side it was. No, I'm serious. It took forever to come down.
It did. Yeah.
It took forever to come down. I mean, it just slow.
Those are games that, man, I'm telling you, live for those games. Last night was, I'm not even a native Hawkinsville Red Devil, but man, I felt like last night, man, I was more proud of those guys last night than I could. It's just awesome.
There are teams that you remember, and it's during whatever segment you're in. I can remember. I'm old enough to remember when we played the Claxtons and all them. We actually went to Dublin and played. I think we played Mary Persons a few times. Played up in Forsyth. I can remember those games. They stick in my mind. And I remember the run we had with Lee and them. I remember the game that ended in a tie because there was no overtime in college football or high school football, and at that time, everybody was around us. What they gonna do? I said, this game's ending in a tie, and it's gonna be a trophy for both teams. And the coach for was Osceola or was it
Owen County?
No, it was
Clinch. I'm sorry,
Clinch would not accept the trophy. I still remember that. It's vivid in my. He would not. He sent an assistant coach out there to take it.
Yeah.
And I remember those games. I remember Jeremy Marshall. I loved the man. No contact play tore a ligament in his knee.
Yeah, he ran the sideline towards the stadium. Towards the press box, and done a little bunny hop out of bounds, and that was it. He was done.
It was like 30 degrees.
It's like Jamal Anderson. It's like Jamal Anderson.
Yeah, it was the first play, and that was it. He was done.
It was done, and we had to make changes, and those games stick in your mind. But then when my son got up, that's when Hawkinsville has traditionally, because I know it hasn't been shown lately. It's getting better. Fans, we'd have 1,000, 2,000 fans in the stadiums wherever we played. It didn't make a darn if it was 4 hours away.
Right.
We brought fans.
Yeah, we went to a lot of places and outnumbered the home.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it got to be where the GHSA noticed that, and they danced us around. Man, we'd be in all, but the region that stuck while my son was playing, and when I was the Booster Club president, was the Columbus region.
Yeah.
We've always had Dooley for some reason, but we play Marion County and places like that, and they wanted the money because we followed. But that game, that Marion County game, what was that running back they had, Bruce? They had like 2 or 3 of them. I can't remember.
Lorenzo Smothers.
Yes, he had a brother.
And Wells was the kicker.
Yeah, I still remember. They had Wells was one of those college kickers. I don't know where he ended up, but I still remember all that time. And to me, last night was it was like a memory of that, And when I think back to the kick, I think back to Tyler Brown's kick to win the game and send us to the state championship games.
Well, I'll tell you this, Eddie. Being with you guys last year, and the feeling that we had in these games last year. We had 4-quarter lead in almost every game we played last year.
Yes,
and there was always a feeling of what's going to go wrong tonight. Well, last night I had the feeling and Bruce will tell you this, when they went up by 2 touchdowns with about 6 minutes left to go, I said, you know what? These kids have some adversity. We're going to see how they respond to that.
Yeah.
And I did not have that feeling of oh no. I had the feeling of I can't wait to see how these kids overcome this.
Well, my thing, and I was trying to listen to y'all and watch the game, and I'll be honest with you, I was kind of listening to y'all more as the game went on. It was just one of those nights. But my feeling was, and I told Kathy this, I said, that team turned the corner at Rutledge.
At halftime.
At halftime,
yep,
they went in, whatever was going on, whatever it says, Bobby Clean, I know you claim it. If you did it, I'm proud of you, son. But whatever happened at halftime at Rutledge, it flipped a switch.
Yeah.
And those boys have been playing, and I was like y'all. I was like, Cass was like, what's going on? And we got in the car, and I hooked my phone to the car, and we were all listening to it, and I was like, darn, this reminds me of, she said, 2015. I said, yeah. I said, it's a non-region game, but who cares? It's another building point for these kids. They've got to believe, and I was trying to text you during the game, what happened? Dagan went out. Anybody know what his status is?
Hamstrings on. We don't know what the severity of it.
No, we didn't.
He was on crutches at the end of the game.
Yeah,
clear. But
at the same time, they found a way to win without him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what looks like we found a field goal kicker.
Well, and it took them 2 or 3 series to kind of get their feet back under them. It was kind of like the night with Clinch in the championship in 2004, where when Jeremy went out, it took us a while to get our air back in us. And okay, well, we still got a ball game to play. I talked to Coach, and when I called him from the house last night, going on midnight. My wife said, he's not going to answer that call from you. And he answered, and I told him, I said, I congratulate him. I said, Coach, I got to tell you something. You changed the culture.
Yeah.
You changed the culture. I said, those kids,
the
And there were lots of times in the past that those kids would have come up on that situation down by 2 scores. They would have quit.
They would have quit.
They didn't quit. No quit.
There would have been a lot of talking going on and everything. We'll take it up after the break.
They would have hanged their heads too. They didn't do that last night.
You're listening to Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a minute.
Yeah, he's changed.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
I walk the mean streets of Atlanta in a police uniform. That gives me an important perspective most lawyers can't give you. If you find yourself in a tough situation leading to an arrest, remember, your best bet for a good defense is to remain completely respectful but quiet. I can't stress that enough. And call me as soon as you possibly can. I'm David Venable. Call me.
The big city lawyer with small town charm. David Venable, attorney at law. Broad Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-2825.
The answer to your insurance needs is simple. The Grimsley Agency. No matter your needs, life, auto, or home, it's the Grimsley Agency. You can trust Danny Grimsley and his staff with great coverage for your whole family. New car or home, the answer is the same. The Grimsley Agency. Give them a call at 783-2581 or see them at 203 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Proud supporters of all Red Devil athletics.
The Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville is the perfect spot for you to get some comfort food, some great Southern cooking. Lewis Fowler and his staff prepare a lunch buffet 7 days a week, along with a special Thursday night buffet with fish and shrimp and the Super Sunday buffet after church. Let the Steakhouse Restaurant cater your next event, whether it's on location or with the in-house banquet facilities. As you're driving along the 341 bypass and smell the fried chicken, stop and eat a great meal at the Steakhouse Restaurant in Hawkinsville.
When I say Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, few things pop into your mind. Community involvement, community awareness, covering what matters to the people of Pulaski County and serving the area since 1866. However, it is much more than that. It's office supplies for home, business, or school. It's also your headquarters for large print copies for all your business and construction needs. So when you need a copy of your construction plans, no need to go out of town. See Chuck and his staff. You may call today, 783-1291, or see them at 329 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Hawkinsville Dispatch and News, serving the finest people in the world since 1866. For all your tax needs and IRS e-file in Middle Georgia, it's Lester's Income Tax Service at 99 Commerce Street, Hawkinsville. Call 478-783-1650. Best of luck, Red Devils.
Welcome back into Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. We're talking a little college football. Unfortunately, our friend John will probably not be able to make it. We got about 5 minutes, Chuck. Let's dive into about 3 games. First one's going to be Auburn against Cal. Auburn's picked by 6.5. Over under. Let me pull up my sheet here. Over under is 54.5. Auburn's picked to win it. It's surprising for me because I am a Auburn. I bleed the blue and orange, the right color, blue and orange.
I didn't know that.
Auburn's defense has got to be the lead in this game. They've got to shut down Cal's offense.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen. I really do. Cal won last week. I'm going to say who they played. I don't even know who they played last week, but they let's see who they played North Texas last week.
Yes.
So that's not that you're going to have a whole but different team that you're playing this week in Auburn. I think Hugh Freeze is going to have those guys ready. They're going all the way out to Cal, and
they
4.5.
They were out there yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, I bet they were. Yeah, I guarantee they were. Well, you got to get the time change. You got to get that thing taken care of. But I'm showing 4.5 as a point spread. I think Auburn's going to easily cover the spread on that. Over and under 55, I would take the over on that. I think that Cal may score a little bit. I think Auburn's going to explode the offense. So I'll take Auburn to cover the spread and the over.
Well, the other game we're going to talk about is Texas A&M and Miami. Texas A&M supposed to have Miami. Let's see, how do I put this? It's going to be Texas A&M's offense against Miami's secondary. Really is what it's going to boil down to.
Yeah.
Miami's got to shut down secondary, and of course you start talking about Texas A&M and their offense. You know who the coach is. I refuse to mention his name. But people overlook that defense. They got one of the best front sevens on that defense out there. So I think really what it's going to come down to is who makes the first mistake. Right now they got Texas A&M picked by 4.5. Over under is 51.5. But that game really could go either way.
You look at the last 2 or 3 years, both those programs are underwhelming to me. They're the programs that have probably the most talent on the rosters and have done really nothing.
Well, Texas A&M's head coach can recruit. They have got a real good. Well, you also got that Texas money.
Well,
the pockets are deep out there.
It's one thing to recruit, but you got to keep the guys too.
Well, he doesn't. He's like a virus. Really, if I was a coach and somebody said, you can either do this or you can jump up here and play for him, I'd take something else. I'm just being honest about it. He's not that good of a person.
Yeah, well, I've met him before in a coaching clinic, and I'll just tell you that I've been to other clinics that are much better than his. But
you see what he did at Florida State.
Yeah, and that's where I went to.
Yeah.
So, but getting to this game here, Miami at home, they're underdogs at home by. I'm showing 3. Depends on who you're looking at. A&M favored by 3, 50.5. Over and under. I think that Bobby Petrino, as much as I don't really care for him, I think he's going to change that offense if Jimbo will let him call the plays. I think that A&M will go down there and beat Miami. Over and under 50. I'll go ahead and take the over in that. I think Miami's going to score some too. Maybe not a lot. I think they'll we'll see what happens there. I think that Van Dyke is a good quarterback, and he might find some success today.
In the next minute and a half, Colorado, Nebraska. And over to you, Joe.
Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and eat my little words from last week on my show, my Thursday show. We all 3 of us picked TCU, and they were favored by 20, and we saw he'll cover TCU. That. And, man, I tell you, we got – hey, we don't always pick them right. And, no, I'll tell you, there's not many people to pick Colorado. Deion made me a believer. I think that he's got a great quarterback. His son's a great quarterback. Number 12 over there is a great player both sides. Matt Rule is, we'll see what he's going to do. But I think at home, Colorado's going to win the game at home. And over and under, what is the over and under? I got to look at that.
The over under for
I'm showing 57.
Yes.
I think that over and under. I think we're going to take the over on that. 3 points. I'm going to go Colorado to cover the spread, and I think they'll go over on the points.
Well, I'm just telling you, right now there are a lot of people mad at the way Deion Sanders is acting. He needs some humility.
He's different.
Well,
but he's always been that way. His whole career's been that way.
And that's fine, but there's certain times, you don't get on national TV and blast everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. It's going to be scorched earth if Nebraska loses this game. Deion's going to be unbelievable to live with, and it's just bad. If you're a Colorado fan, it's good for you. Hats off to you. He just needs to learn some humility. We got about a minute and a half. We got to jump.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up with Texas and Alabama. Right now, according to where you look, and Bruce is getting his headset on because he wants to weigh in.
I don't know that I'm going to weigh in.
Alabama by 7. Over under is 54.5. Alabama's picked to win. I'm going with Alabama because I think they feel like they've got something to prove. It's going to be in their stadium. Rebuttal.
54.5. I'm taking the over. Quinn Ewers, he's got some dudes. He's got two alpha dogs catching footballs out there with Worthy and A.D. Mitchell. I think they got the running. They don't have the running back they had last year, but they still have a good running game. I think that offensive line has gotten better this year. Alabama's going to run the ball effectively. Alabama's defense is great too. I still think that I'll take the over on that. 7 points is the spread. Last year was a 1 point difference with a backup quarterback on one leg. I'm going to say that I'm not going to call Texas winning this game, but I do think that Texas will beat the spread, and so I'll pick Texas and the over in that.
I'm going to tell you now, you can mark it down. Alabama fans were worried about a quarterback. They don't need to worry anymore. Jalen Milroe is going to be a good quarterback at Alabama. He's going to do more. He is going to be more of what Saban wants. He's a sharp enough passer. He can make those tight throws, but he is going to destroy people with his legs. He is that good.
He is a good running back. They're a runner, there's no doubt. He's a dual threat.
Chuck, I think Eddie was Bo Nix's. He was Bo Nix's biggest fan.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can trust him on quarterbacks.
I never said I was Bo Nix's best friend.
Bo Nix played good against everybody except Georgia. He's 0 for his life against Georgia.
This is no lie. And if John was on, he could tell you the same thing. I never was high on Bo Nix. I thought he was too short. I thought he was too soft. He's a good quarterback where he's at. But against Alabama and against Georgia and really anybody with a strong defense, you could hear him out there on the field screaming.
Yeah.
This is no lie.
Last time he played Georgia, what happened?
Yeah, well,
49-3.
Yeah, I mean it was bad, but he's out there in the Pac-2 right now, and he's playing good. So you got to hand it to him. He found a home where he fit, where he plays after
5-year starting quarterback. Amazing.
Yeah.
Guys, that'll do it for this week's edition of the Steakhouse Restaurant Saturday Morning Quarterback Show. Make your way out to the Steakhouse. It's Thanksgiving every Sunday at the Steakhouse. We'll see you next week, folks.
Fast 3 hours.
Only the best music on the river.